Well, we hope that was a good introduction for you about our next guest. We've been joined by the authors of The Waymor, which is a book that you can purchase. We'll tell you how to purchase it a little bit later. The authors of this book are Tony Smith and Will Smith I. So we want to welcome you both to the program. Thank you so much. It's a great honor to have you here.
Welcome.
Now, Mr. Smith,
yes.
Did you play at the Clifford Brown Festival?
I've played a number of times at the Clifford Brown Festival.
Okay, just want to make sure because we do a lot of promos and things, and I'm looking at your page, I'm like, I know this face somewhere.
Yeah, I've been around for a while here.
Look, I tell you what, when I learned that we were going to have Tony Smith and Will Smith Sr. on, it just brought back flashbacks for me when I was at the Nomad, and man, this guy came in there with this horn, and he just broke it out and started playing. I said, man, who he's mad at? Who made him mad? I mean, he blew that place out the water. I said, now the club is on 9th and Orange. I know they heard that on 4th and Orange.
That's funny. Well, let's talk about the book.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk a little bit about the book. Can you tell me about the book, Mr. Smith?
The book is fiction. It's a novel. It's about choices, appreciation. We have, and the possibility of redemption within all of us.
Right.
We have 8 characters that are really different who meet up and meet at the Waymor Club. And the fireworks begin from there.
See, there's a teaser. That means that you got to read this. You got to get yourself a copy, and that's a teaser right there, you know?
How did you come up with the name of the band in the book, For the Hard Way? I like that title.
How did we come up with For the Hard Way?
Yeah, For the Hard Way was actually one of the characters in the book. He actually has a gambling problem, and so For the Hard Way is one of those phrases for those who gamble. I don't gamble or anything, and so For the Hard Way was some type of I don't know.
That's a bet.
Yeah, a bet. Okay,
Yeah,
it's a bet, and so that that's where that title came from.
So what was the inspiration for the book? That's for either of you.
Actually, we started out to do a movie. Well, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
I retired in 2002, and I opened a record label.
Right.
The second record that I recorded was Lucky Thompson's DNA, and Tony was the featured trumpeter on that CD, and that's how we met.
Wow.
So Tony is a hustler, believe me.
Hey.
So he was constantly coming to my house to buy CDs, because he was selling CDs like crazy.
Okay.
And during his visits, we would shoot a little game of pool.
All right.
And somewhere over the pool table, the seed was planted to make a movie of all things.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
So I thought I was Michael Mann, and Tony must have thought he was Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
So go ahead, we got into it.
Yeah, we got into it, and basically, when Will came up with the idea of making a movie,
Right.
I had my version of it was a 10-minute clip.
Right.
And I wrote a quick skit.
Yeah.
And
I was trying to go feature length.
yeah, but I didn't know that. So
Short film, you were going for
I want to go feature length. I want to go all the way.
Thinking big time. That's
and
right.
we were so excited about. We had a somewhat of a story.
Yeah.
And we were more excited about getting people together and shooting the movie. And we were actually shooting the movie.
We were shooting. We hired actors and actresses.
All
and
right.
everything.
You just dove in.
Got locations and all.
Without the story being finished.
No story. No story.
So I'm gonna take it at that point. Maybe you consulted with somebody
Yes,
in
we
the industry.
did. Yes, we did.
And who
Yes,
was
we
that
did.
person?
Well, it was a very good friend of mine.
A very good friend of
Very
yours.
good friend of mine.
All right. And his name
I
was?
said, I'm trying to make this movie, and I'm in trouble. I don't know what to do. And my good friend said to me, Dad, this is what you got to do.
Right.
You have to study character development and theme. So we took, about 2 months off to really get into the art
Okay, of filmmaking.
Of storytelling.
Of storytelling,
Right.
okay.
Of storytelling.
Got you.
Because filmmaking is another art altogether.
Okay.
It's totally different.
All right.
And we tried to follow all the rules about theme and character development, and the result is the Waymor.
All right.
So you have your book now. Is the plan still to produce a film?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
When can we expect that?
We were hoping that would be yesterday.
Okay.
All right. So it might be tomorrow.
I doubt
You're
it.
wrong from the
check,
way that's
check your answering machine after this program, you know?
And
Again,
see,
it's-
one of the problems that we're having is that people want a sequel to this book.
Yeah, that's
So-
just true.
I
So
can
we're
see that
stuck.
happening, though.
Well,
It's gonna be
we're
a
in
lot
the
of work.
process. We should have the second edition of this book in a few months.
Excellent. And then?
And I have a nephew who's working on a script for a movie.
All right, all right.
So hopefully we can start shooting in July, August, September,
Right.
somewhere around there. But the script has to be tight.
gotta
We learned that from the first time out.
Right. So when you had you have this book out now, and you said that you're going to do the sequel, it sounds like there's so much meat to this that there's no limit. So we can do a number 3, 4.
Actually, there is no limit. Our characters are we think very well developed.
Yeah.
And they can be expanded.
And they can be expanded on
Right.
very easily.
So I want to talk about a little bit before the Waymor came along. Mr. Smith, you've always been involved in music,
Yes.
but Mr. Smith, you were in a totally different industry at
Totally
first.
different. Totally different. yes.
Refrigeration, I believe.
Refrigeration, and I had an ice making company that I started. As a part of the refrigeration business, one of my passions became ice making equipment.
Really.
So, and then I started an ice machine rental business where I would rent ice machines to bars, restaurants, and so forth.
Now
Okay.
wait, was it the good ice or the big hard ice or the little crispy ice?
It was the good
The
ice.
good, okay, all right. 'Cause I'm a connoisseur.
It was the good
All
ice.
right.
And it was
Okay.
cold.
And it was cold. And contrary to beliefs, my ice was colder
Okay.
Oh, come on.
than the other folks'
I know
ice.
that's right.
You know.
As well as that's what I would expect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Icier than
Absolutely.
the average ice.
So I one day would buy machines, used machines, fix them up like new,
Okay.
and you would have to test the machines.
Okay.
Well, in order to know whether an ice machine is making as much ice as it should, it has to run overnight.
Okay.
And then you come in the morning and you have all this ice to throw away.
Okay.
And I thought that was kind of silly.
Yeah.
So I went and bought some plastic bags,
I'm liking
started putting the ice in plastic bags and selling it.
I'm liking it. Yeah.
Okay. I started out selling 100 pounds of ice a day.
Okay.
And when I closed the business in 2002 or 2001,
Yeah.
I was selling 30,000 pounds of ice a day.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing.
So after, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
After the ice making, after you left that, then you went into music.
Well, after the ice making, I couldn't figure out what to do with
Okay.
myself.
Okay.
So I started to study music. And I started studying with Alfie Pollard, who's a keyboard player.
Okay.
I'm a guitar player.
Oh, all right.
I can't figure out why I wanted to study music. I had already been studying music for 50 years and still couldn't play. So
Optimism.
I discovered that Alfie, although he had played all over the world with many, many great artists, didn't have a CD of his own.
Okay.
So I decided to record Alfie, and thus the record label,
Right.
Philly Through My Ear, was born.
Wow.
And then second CD, as I said before, Tony was on, and that's how we met.
That's
And-
amazing.
Yeah, and when we met, I was probably entering into my last year of, I was vice principal out of Brandywine High School,
Okay.
and I retired in 2006. Before that, I also worked at Christina Cultural Arts Center for about 20-something years.
We love that place.
Yeah, Christina Cultural Arts Center. I taught all musical instruments. I taught my students the way that I wanted to be taught when I was a kid, but I found out that a lot of people couldn't teach that way. I teach in a way that the student can excel in any type of a musical situation that he comes upon. If he can read, or if he can't read and he meets someone who needs you to read, they're going to say, well, that kid can't read. Then you're going to meet people who are very successful who can't read, and they'll spoon feed you what they want you to play. So you should be able to do that also.
Right, right.
You should also be able to improvise.
Yes.
And say what you want to say on your instrument. So I taught a student band down there made up of a bunch of little kids, and matter of fact, y'all might hear some footage of that somewhere around here, maybe 15 years ago, and I had these little kids on, and people were saying, "Oh, this is going to be real cute." It was cute, all right.
They were for real.
They were the real deal.
Wow.
Yeah, they were the real deal.
Now,
and
were those students in the Brandywine School?
No, they were at Christina Cultural Arts.
Oh, okay, yes,
yeah,
right.
Christina Cultural Arts Center.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Where I was I was at Christina when I was a little kid. It used to be a community center back then.
Right.
Christina Community Center, and once I went off to college, I came back, and it was a cultural arts center.
Yeah.
Where they taught music, and the guy who taught me jazz, Robert Boise Lowry, the same guy who taught Clifford Brown. I started studying under him. You know, I was with him day after day after day, and that's where I actually learned jazz. I didn't play jazz at all through college.
What did you play?
I played classical music, and I played in funk bands and, and salsa bands and things like that, and couldn't take a solo to save my life.
Really?
Until I met, Mr. Boise Lowry, who said that I had music in me. It's in there.
Yeah.
It just has to come out.
Right.
You know, and he used a lot of real analogies of how to do certain things. Like he compared learning to improvise as learning to tie your shoe. He said you gotta, if you think back to how you learned to tie your shoe, if you did it in real slow motion, you have to look at each string and say, well, what do I do with these?
Right.
And you cross it over and you do this until you do it so much that you just, bang,
Go ahead.
and
I
there
saw